Testing. Today's a D19 test. We have the WA19. A friend of mine said I really should get it and test it. He hasn't seen a good comparison video. You hear that? So the first thing we do with these vintage mics is they've got these old vintage Canon connectors and they've got a 5-pin DIN connector on it. So we take some contact cleaner and the noise is gone. Look at that. Look how beautiful this mic is. This is one of the first D19s. It has gold plating on it. These D19s had some crazy connectivity. This one had a 3-pin Tuchel, and this one had a 5-pin. It's really easy to modify these and put XLR. You just take out that flathead set screw, take this out. It's wired to the transformer that's then wired to the capsule, and then you just desolder and put an XLR jack in there and you're done. It's a lot less complicated than you'd think. And then you have warm audio, the WA19. It's funny, I saw some other videos of people complaining about the price. I think I paid $200 for this. If you don't have $200, then you must be a musician. We should also talk about this unique design. Why do these mics have these vents on them? That's so the sound can come in and reach the back of the diaphragm, improve and, well, really reduce the proximity effect and give it that nice cardioid polar pattern that it has. So whatever source you put it on, that's the source you get. You're not getting room reflections. You're not getting an increased bass response because the mic is closer. That's called a proximity effect. What you see is what you get, and that is due to these awesome vents. So another mic that has that design that you may have seen is the RE16. Same design. A lot of these mics at that time were using that design. So as you probably already know, the AKG D19 was heavily and extensively used at Abbey Roads with the Beatles and has been used on countless records ever since. Ringo loved to have it above as his drum overhead. Paul and John loved to use it as vocal mics, and everybody's been using it ever since. Because it's so smooth, people often wonder, was it a ribbon? Was it a condenser mic? And they come to find out it's a dynamic, one of the smoothest dynamic mics ever made. The frequency response is very flat. Incredible mic. The problem with these mics, and the reason that warm audio is knocking them off, not just because they're like $1,000 and over now, is because the diaphragms are really sensitive. Over the years, I've probably owned like a few dozen of these. They just don't last. A lot of the old AKG dynamic mics did not last. The D19, the D20, the D25, the D12, all these diaphragms were known for you drop them and they're junk. In fact, listen to one that has a capsule that's going. Check this out. Go. That's a diaphragm that's going bad, unfortunately. Yeah. Poor D19. Poor little D19. D19, WA19. D19, WA19. Microphones are extremely source dependent, and when you're using a D19 as an overhead opposed to this WA19, I think you're going to find that the D19 folds wildly better into the mix than the WA19. The WA19 to me just sounds like a modern production Chinese microphone. The D19 has just palpable magic to it. Let's see if I'm being ardent about vintage gear. Hey Jude, hey Jude, don't make it bad. Take a sad song and make it better. I don't need the muddy low end that people are used to in the SM57 that you're expecting to hear. The D19 it's not a brighter microphone per se. The excitability and the presence of the mic, the frequency response is what I'm attracted to right now. And what we're going to do is we're going to go over to the drums and listen to it as a snare mic and then as an overhead. Obviously, it's most popular as an overhead because of Ringo Starr, but it's a killer snare mic. And then, of course, it's a great guitar mic. So we're going to try those next. Check it out. So the WA19, D19, 441, and the 565. Let's check them out. Which do you prefer on snare drum? All right, we're starting with the MD441. The Unidyne 3545 SD. The Warm Audio WA19. gain-hungry D19. So there you go. And something we got to talk about is the inherent low-end loss that you get with the D19. D19 capsules do not sound the same today as they did 60 years ago. A 1960s D19 invariably sounds quite different. Maybe the WA19 sounds like a D19 used to. I've not heard a soloed overhead Beatles drum track with no processing. Until I hear that file, I can't say for sure. As far as a snare mic, it kind of depends on the project and the sound I'm going for. I think both of those mics sounded good on the snare. Which is your favorite? All right, let's test them as overheads. Here we go. Thanks for watching JMO Recording. We'll catch you next time. Finger guns. Finger guns.